Hey, John. Good morning.
Morning.
Well, great. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Okay, great. So just loosen a little bit. Body. One leg. Back to the center. Release out the arms. And the toes. Let the fingers extend down. Striking your gently. Slowly coming up the sides. And time the heel strike. Finger extension together. Reach it as top if you can. And over the front. And back down. Time. We're making fists nice and tight. Down. Separating the heel. Relax the wrist a little bit. Changing direction. The elbows. Change direction. Alternating the elbows. Changing the rotation. Take into rotation, the elbows back. Standing open and up to the back, hold it a little bit. And then find the other side. Circling the hips. Changing direction. Great, and that's it is awesome. And circling. Change direction. Great, bending back slightly. Okay, down, a little bit deeper. Great, good, loosen that ankle. The other way. Off the ground, on the foot. Changing direction. From the knee. Changing direction. Releasing the leg forwards. Rolling it back. Maybe sit out. Okay, pull out the ankle. Change direction. Look around. Change. It's the knee. Change direction. Leg. Rolling up the knee. Just got to keep rolling outside to side. And up onto the toes, back down onto the heel. Okay, coming out wide, sink close into the hips. A bit of pressure out. And rotating over, looking over the shoulder. Now the legs. Heel outside. And bring the hands onto the back. Knees out to the back. Over. Just reach in both hands, each ankle. Small wings each side. Place my hands back down in the center. Slow step to release the head towards the ground. You can bring the elbows, forearms down to the ground. Release the whole spine. Leave the hips back slowly, walk the hands forward, crawl forwards. Yes, and even the fingertips. Shift the weight to the hands, bring the feet together at the back, walk out the legs and the feet. Great, walk the hands back, lengthen the body down. And nice and slow, bring yourself up to standing. Just finish with a few swings. So, your shoulder width, you start from the top, release everything out. Feel the weight drain to the ground. Shoulders release. Give a little bit side to side, find the side angle, just release the arms up, cross the body, do a little wet drop. Bring the hip into it, let it kick the neck away. And releasing the arms to the front. The hip carries the arm forwards. To really swing the arms open out to the body. And gradually start to come up towards the top of the head. Right in the center line of the body. And start to work circularly. And change direction. Last one, just release out the arms from the shoulders up. Play with either the same side, bend the elbow and release it out. And play also with coming across the body. So touching my shoulder, release it out. Touch the shoulder, release it. Shoulder, release. So a little bit of tummy work. So just taking a nice tight fist, just nice basic. You can do either like a Chinese style forward with the thumb kind of pointing up, or you can go into the slightly more of a karate style. Just take the center line, just do a few on each side. So center in the body and just release it out toward the leg. Release it out toward the leg. Release it out toward the leg. Looking for coordination now. And the whole body reaches into the ground as you extend out. And change the side, the side. Play with alternating right and left. Okay, we'll do the uraken. So find the center line again with that hand, wrap the arm around just the side of the body, and you're going to release down it as you draw the arm back, and just play with one side. So find it, release the arm back. Find it, release the arm. Actually, we do this in this stage. It goes like this. Find the back hand, this, release it out, just let it settle, let the arm basically settle back to the body. So you want to get caught in this position, let it kind of roll out and whip back. And in terms of how we use it, we're looking to use the find the strike and basically find the grip, basically. So strike and find the grip, strike and find the grip, and I basically need the arm to be releasing back and actually quite move to this. Play with this center line, really wrap up, and then release it and release the joint back. Find it again, find the center line, find that coil, and release it and let it come back. And using the back arm in this case to really balance the structure. Later you can use it for functional things. First we just look for balance. That's so nice. Good. Good, and try the other side. Again, just work the coordination first so the hand comes out. Fist comes over, wrap it around the side of the body, release it and let it snap back. And we find that position. Okay, good. And then play with alternating. So can either be easier or harder depending on your coordination. So find that, release it, snap it back, and then find the other side. Release it, snap it back, find the other side. So that hand that releases now finds the center line, finds that, and then snaps it. Neutral position, release it. Neutral, release. Neutral, release. Neutral, release. So, okay. And then just explore these. You've also got loads of different footwork with this, but just play with, basically hold a center position in your space and just play with rotating the body different directions and allow the feet to naturally change. You can attack with the back foot, you can attack stepping in with the front foot. Play with the straight fist or with a straight strike and play with the 𝘭𝘰𝘦𝘴 whipping out. So find a central point, find a point of focus, go towards it, refine the center, and then find something else, find a point of focus, find a strike, change, find a point of focus, find a strike, change, point of focus, find a strike, change, change. So once you get into it, keep it slow but focus, size, clear, play with different sides of the body, different legs, different hands. Fletching. Okay, great. Take a jump.
Still here, Michael.
Okay, okay, good. I can see you now. I can see you now.
My camera's playing up. Still here.
We'll just start with a really simple set. Just look at the 6-count kata and we'll build on some of the stuff we were doing yesterday. And some different movements. So but just start with a nice clear form with it. So you've got ski, raising up to the top, releasing to the yokomen, drawing back and into the get out. And back into come on. Just go into that as a set. Okay, good. We'll play with one idea. It's one of those exercises, it's not quite how it is, but it's a way to get somewhere closer to how it is. So play with this, we should do this. It's in the retreating moments when you draw the jaw back. So what I want to play with is really let the arms do nothing in this case. So the tendency always is the arms start to create the movement. So in this case, feel as if the jaw's kind of stuck and the hips are going to kind of pull back. The hips are going to kind of pull back. Hips going to pull back and then allow the hip and the hands to follow with it. Come into the strike and do the same thing here. So you've got the hands as if they're kind of stuck and I can draw the hips back, and then feel that there's a kind of natural tension through the hip to the hands and then use that feeling as you do it to draw the jaw back. But the key thing is that the arms try. This is an exercise to try and prevent the arms from starting. and just get them not doing anything. So they're going to pull the hips back, and you can really exaggerate this, obviously, which is why it's not it's not how it is, because if I really exaggerate the teaching, it's going to really go badly. But feel that you really draw the hip, draw the hip, draw the hip, really feel that connection, and the arms do nothing, and then I just incorporate it into the movement. It's just getting the feeling of this hip kind of draw back, and then try to use it. Yeah, that's it. Later, you're looking for a kind of instant connection in a sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The first thing with this exercise, I expect that this one's clearer, but look for this. The first thing is that the hips are actually mobilizing. So just really play with the hip in this case. The arm does nothing. And I just really play with pulling the hip. Now there's lots of positions the hip can go to, which are going to kind of disconnect from the structure. But the first thing is feel that the feet are grounded so that my hips can mobilize. If my feet aren't really grounded, the hip's going to kind of struggle to kind of go into some position. So feel that the feet are grounded evenly, and then really play with releasing the knees, the hips, that whole portion of the lower body, and then feel the kind of connection out through the arm. So again, it's not how it is, but if you imagine kind of hanging onto something and drawing the hip back, and then I'm going to kind of draw it back with the jerk. Just play with the first thing is kind of mobilizing the hip, just making, or just noticing where the hip can go. And obviously there's lots of places where I can mobilize to which are disconnecting. And in the case of functionality, I want the hips to kind of draw back with the jerk. Key things like hip motivated. And it's sometimes good to just be a bit stupid with these exercises, but that's okay, great. And then take this to the other part of the move, which is the initiation into the strike. It's there in the ski too, but it's less obvious. So play with it in these two positions again. So again, that feeling here, like the arms really do nothing, and then really play with, again, the first level, which is just to mobilize the hip, allow the foot to go with it, and just play with it. Obviously, you've got lots of mobility in the hip, hopefully. If you're balanced here, you've got quite a bit of mobility, you've got a lot of mobility. And then look for the one which is going to take the movement of the Joe where I want it to go, which is in this way. And then you've actually got two movements anyway. You've got the containment, bringing the Joe to the center line, and then you've got the pull down with the Joe. So you've got two parts of that, this kind of rolling through, and then the draw down of the hip, draw down of the hip into the strike, and play with it also in the get out. It's the same kind of idea. I've got the kind of containing it, and then the extension phase of the movement. So it's kind of feeling back. Play that kind of impulse out as you do it. Ella.
See you later.
Good. Yeah. That's. Yeah, that main thing is that the arms as little as possible, or that the arms just follow basically. They're trying to get them to just follow, get the hip mobile, and then try and somehow get them to talk to each other. So it's, okay, good. And then play with these two again. The 𝘮𝑗𝗧's a little bit easier for this one, but I like this analogy someone said one time, which was like squeezing peanut butter in the fist. So you've got a fistful of peanut butter and you squeeze it, and it kind of squelches, and then there's a little bit more, and then it goes, comes out. So it's like squeezing toothpaste or something. There's a point when I squeeze it and I go, nothing's happening, and then it is a little bit more, and then it goes, and then it all comes out. So there's a kind of drawing into the body. This, and then there's a release out that way. So there's a kind of draw and a release out to it. You can do this in both parts of it, but in both parts of these strikes. But again, there's a kind of containment in, pulling in, and then it will release out. And that are rolling through, containing, and then a release out. So there's something like a tightening and a release. Tightening is the wrong word, but there's a compression and there's a release in the movement. And it needs something very mobile, very flexible, supple to do it. So let's give it a try.
Michael?
Bernie, yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering, this rotation, this strike to the knee.
Yeah.
If you go to 𝘮𝘩𝘪𝘐𝑢𝑟𝑎, that would be the same principle for the taijutsu. So your lead hand is actually the hand that is on the further side.
Yes. Yeah.
Limb, so to speak.
Yeah, and if you think about that, that's, I mean, normally with Ikkyo, like the hand that takes the elbow is really, I mean, it's essential, obviously, but
yeah.
In the ura, I really need that hand to be extending away, because that's what's creating, or that's what's drawing the spiral. Because if I don't have that, you see this all the time, but if I don't have that extension and I go for the arm and then I rotate, I just drop it. I drop the arm back in, and then if the person's following it, they just turn into it, or they'll just really follow it. So I need to have that arm basically extended, pulling them away.
And then you rotate with the extended arm.
Yeah, and then I need to rotate. That's why Ikkyo ura is so difficult, because to rotate with extension, to open the body up with while extending away, really needs balance in the body. And if I don't have like a dynamic sense of balance, it becomes pushing and pulling. And it's exactly the same with this actually. If I don't really have balance in this case, then I either do something like this with no extension, or the extension pulls me through. Either both of those are going to be like bad for power generation in a sense. But like you said, like this kind of a hip opening and this rotating through, maybe it's actually worthwhile. Yeah, actually play with this, because it's a good test for it. But play with increasing the rotation in the 𝘮𝑗𝗧. So you would do like an ura, like an Ikkyo. So you've got the feeling needs to be that you're rolling and opening the movement out. We'll look at this with the hatha as well, because it's very similar. But just go with opening this movement out a little bit more. And as if I'm kind of if the knee was there, I'm trying to get kind of towards the back of the knee. But again, look for the anchoring, look for the ground, look for the extension, and trying to balance it. Really, really difficult actually. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually. Yeah, the kind of outside arm in the spiral. I think in the 𝘮𝑗𝗧, like this is opening the door basically, and it's the same with the Ikkyo. I'm kind of opening the door, and then I'm letting the center pass through it and affect them. Yeah. Yeah. It's a really tricky movement, I think. One of the trickiest movements we've got in the chat. Okay, good. We're going to hasso work, but we'll look at it specifically as a kind of blocking movement. So just play with this. It doesn't necessarily matter how you start with this, but I'm just starting the right foot. Play with going into this position. So just on the spot, you find a block and then you release it to the top. So the key thing with this in terms of coordination is that the feet and hand goes together. Feet and hands go together here. And then as I roll back, let that foot also come back with it. So you do 1, 2 with the feet into the block. And then as you roll back up, slight movement of that front foot to gather the jump. You've got 1, 2. And just play with it. You've got space. Drop in and then release it up. So again, the key thing is what's happening in the hips. The hip's going to drive the jaw down, and then the hip's going to draw the jaw back up. Do this as if you're underwater with the jaw, so you get a real kind of sense of what's required of that movement. So you can do this kind of very light, very much in the arms. Watch the cat. The cat wants to play. Yeah, good. Yeah, so the key thing also with this, and also this idea of doing it in stages, just watch out for if you do this in flow, watch for the arm leading and then the foot follows. So something like this happens, that the arm follows and then the foot drives. Think about the foot in this case. So I've got this. Think about the foot actually rolling the jaw back. So it's very similar motion in a sense to the first group with the bottom, that the foot and the raise basically draw, foot and the raise draw, rather than that and then the foot follows. If that happens, I'm really out of balance at that point. So think about that, and there's a draw of the hip up with the jaw, and that kind of heaviness in the lower body is gonna make the jaw very light and later powerful fast. That's it. So the first thing, just look at in the kind of coordination that's required for that movement. For the movement to be heavy, for the movement to be a whole body weight passing through it. And think about car accidents. It's like pushing a car, like if the kind of force that's required to push a car and the kind of organization in your body that's required, kind of bring that into it, so that feeling that you have, there's a kind of bite in the body and there's a kind of now I'm going to move. It's that same kind of feeling that you've got when you're trying to apply force, basically. But that's it. That's it. Great. And then keep that same kind of speed, that same kind of pressure, and that same kind of tension through the body, but see if you can make it into one kind of smooth motion. Okay, yeah, you can do this too. Yeah, there's 2 ways you can do this movement. You can do a kind of shorthand version, or you can do a longhand version. So the long hand is to kind of come fully into the block, allow the hands to really shift through. That gives you kind of the maximum amount of movement as you do that movement. The other one is to kind of take the 𝗧𝗧 and go up into that position. Stick with for now that kind of roll through that way. So we do also an asymmetrical movement in this case. The right hand does the majority of the movement. So we've got the right hand doing the movement here, the right hand doing the movement here. So it's not exactly a symmetrical movement. And that's generally because the 𝗧𝗧 is usually against the bokken, someone with a sword, and doing generally different things with it. These tend to come from Kentai-jo movements. And that's generally what we're using a lot of the time.
Question is, do you find hasso in Jodo?
No. No, there's no 𝗧𝗧. There's and also they basically, I mean, they use the grip in a different way. So they usually they use the jo like this kind of way, and they're using the jo much more really differently actually. All the ski works different, all the striking works different. So and no real 𝗧𝗧. You find a little bit of 𝗧𝗧 work in spear work sometimes, and also bow work. Sometimes you see, but it's not quite the same. We don't really know where that 𝗧𝗧 came from. Some kind of ritual dance, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Who knows where that came from? I think it's some kind of. I don't know. No, don't know. Okay, so just like last few minutes, playing it in a sense somewhere between the jo work and the taijutsu work. So like Bernie was saying before about the ikkyo, the urarata, look for this kind of stuff as you do it. But again, play with the same kind of skills that you're looking for. You'll probably find yourself coming into specific jo positions, but play with this idea of kind of rolling through the contact, rolling the hip through and applying weight through it. Now you can do that with kind of backwards motions, like we've just been doing with the jo. You can do that with stepping rotation movements. But just play with a kind of slow movement and the sense of pulling the jo through connection work and extension out. So you've got these different kind of phases in each of the movements. The kind of rolling compression and you can have expansion opening into extension. Rolling in between those two movements sometimes. So just play basically with body movement, play with the grip. You can play with striking movements as like you would do with the jo, or you can think about also controlling movements. Basically anything which requires weight and pressure to be extended away and out from the body. Yeah, so give the hands freedom to really explore different grips, different positions, holding the jo in different positions, using the full width of the jo, all these kind of things. So. Last minute, play with the, this is a straight one, play with the idea that the jo's in control and I'm going to track the body to it. So you might mean giving the jo a little bit more freedom so that it's a little bit hard to deal with. So I get the feeling that it's kind of released. I'm going to control it lightly and just feel the weight of the jo and feel like the jo's taking you for a walk rather than the other way around. A little bit of a strange one. Trying to fit the body movement into the jo, a little bit more of an 𝘭𝘵𝑚𝑖c practice in a sense. Be as light as you can with it. You can use different contacts with the jo as well on the body. Feel where the jo wants to go in space. Just kind of follow it a little bit. Good. And very last 30 seconds. Play with the Joe. It's going to basically swing towards the head and hit you in the head. And you basically need to do this yourself, and then play with really rolling the body through. So it's a movement we don't tend to like doing in Aikido, but you gotta do it. You want to avoid being hit in the face. It's kind of necessary. So just the last week, just to release the spine a little bit, but really feel that the Joe's coming towards the head and roll the body through. Roll the body through underneath. You can also go for the head the top way. You should roll the body the other way. That's it. You're very good at Joe turn. You can do these things, rolling around the back of the neck and all these kind of things. I'm not that good, but strange exercise. What the? What? Remember, you've got two sides of the Joe, so you can surprise yourself with both ends. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, good. What? And the next level of this is you tie the stick to a string and you spin it. And then you do it. So you've got no control over it. And then the next level is you close your eyes and do it. Try this.
This is actually a really fun exercise to do with pool noodles and a
Yeah. Yeah, these are great. These are great.
Just let them hit you and they will go for
it. Do them with kids, yeah. Kids probably dangerous combination.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll stop that. Very good. Enough hitting yourself in the gym. That's okay, correct. Good. Perfect. Great. Great. Domo arigato gozaimasu.
Domo. Thank you.
Here we go. Thank you very much.